Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast, your guide to the food in Oklahoma. And this journey is going to be just with your hosts.
Hey.
It's a little different. We always try to get a guest in, but there's sometimes where, we just got to sit and chat. And so you're joined with your hosts, Nabil,
Josh,
and Christina.
And let's get into it. This week, we're going to be talking about things that are happening and events coming up, some restaurant openings, whatever that might be, all food related. Food and drink related.
Food, drink related, and then one
and
special...
general merriment.
Yeah, for sure.
And one special something.
Yeah. So we should probably start off with our Eat of the Week.
We should.
Right?
Yes.
Because tradition.
We should.
Tradition
dictates Eat of the Week. And you know what? I'll break tradition and go first.
Oh, no.
Because I usually look around and I'm who's going to go first? All right. So my Eat of the Week was New State Burgers. We were driving back from the lake last night. Was it last night? I don't know. Sunday night. I forget when we're recording.
Today's Monday.
It's been a week.
Oh, man.
So we were driving back from the lake last night. And we were in the car and we were like, man, burgers would be good. And so we detoured to New State, picked it up, brought it back home. Man, I've talked about this burger before. Lived up to its standards, even by bringing it home. This time I added some grilled onions and grilled jalapenos.
Always a solid choice.
And then, obviously it comes with the fresh diced onions and the diced pickles with the cheese. Man, I tell you what, till the last bite, this thing held together. Nothing fell out, which is what I love. And the onions were sliced so thin and they were so well caramelized. It felt like a cheese pull when, the grilled onion was pulling. It was really, really well done. So obviously the fries didn't travel that well and then we waited a little bit while we unloaded and unpacked. Mm-hmm. So we reheated those in our toaster oven back to 90%. It can never be as good as fresh.
No.
So, but yeah, their fries are solid, burger solid. Yeah, New State Burgers.
It's good to know that it holds up after a little bit of time.
Yeah.
The burger.
And the best part, doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
My burger standard.
Nice, well constructed.
That's your go-to.
Yeah.
Can't fall apart.
Also toaster ovens. I lived without a toaster oven for all my life.
How?
And then I don't know. I just recently got one a couple of years ago.
Game
and
changer.
it just increased my quality of life.
Yep.
All my leftovers are so much better now. Anyways, so for me, my Eat of the Week, I would say would be Packard's. I went to Packard's this past weekend for a friend's birthday, and I have not been to Packard's in a very long time. I remember pre-COVID, the rooftop was such a good spot to hang out. But they also have their downstairs area, which is right on that corner of 10th Street and
Harvey,
I think it
maybe.
is, yeah.
And I actually parked a little bit far because, again, that area is lacking in some parking space. There's one parking lot, but you have to pay. But anyways, I brought my scooter, my motorized scooter, and I just scooted my way over to Packard's. I'll have to tell you guys that another time, update you on my new scooter.
You own a scooter?
Yes, I bought it. Yeah. Okay. And I added some stickers.
She's tired of those Lime prices.
No, I need my own scooter. Anyways, but it was kind of a light dinner because I had already had something to eat at home, but I ordered their Caesar salad, and
of course
I wanted to try their Caesar salad, and they had an option to add anchovies, just pure anchovies on there, and I said, okay, that sounds great, I'll try that. And then also some charred shrimp, and so just adding those two together just really elevated the Caesar salad for me, because typically I don't like adding chicken to it. I know that that's classically what a lot of people like.
But it's usually cold chicken and...
Yeah. I just wanted something more, a little different. Yeah. But it was pretty solid. They have two different sizes. Of course, you have their side size, which is a little smaller, or you can have their entree size, and then you can add all sorts of protein on there. I know they have salmon, and then you can add shrimp, or they can, really sear the shrimp for you. They do their Caesar dressing in-house.
Did the Caesar dressing have enough anchovies in there for you?
I mean, I actually don't know because I added the extra anchovies on there, so it just. I need to go again and have it without the anchovies.
Like, can I just get a side if you see the dressing? Anything else? No, that's it. I just
I
want
just
to
need
the
to
dressing.
judge the dressing itself without adding the anchovies. No, but it was solid. It was delicious. Would highly recommend. The place is so pretty too to take anybody on a date also. So highly recommend, y'all.
It's a good
Nice.
spot.
Yeah.
It's a very good spot. My favorite thing that I ate this week, I honestly wasn't very adventurous on the food scene this week. Busy with work and family and everything else, but I have to go back to my old staple, the Blackstone griddle. I was over at my parents' over the weekend, and we did a solid stir fry on the Blackstone. And we did it with...
Glad it didn't turn into liquid.
But
Thanks.
he'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
Catch me in my opening set at the Bricktown Comedy Club. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we just did a simple cut up some chicken, some chicken breasts. Did a mixture of vegetables with some bell peppers, some snow peas, onions, carrots, some broccoli I think was in there, and instead of doing the rice this time, because normally we'll do rice real quick, we did some rice noodles. And boiled those beforehand. You don't just put the hard noodles onto the Blackstone, but cook the noodles first, and then you put those down.
That would be impressive if Blackstone could boil your noodles or cook your noodles that quickly without water.
Yeah,
Alchemy. Magic.
Texture. It's called texture.
Yeah, so cook the noodles, throw those down, and then throw everything else on top of that, and you just kind of let it simmer. And the Blackstone it has a magical way of getting that little bit of caramelization on the outside of that noodle.
I was just about to say that char or toast or burn or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The caramelization.
Yep.
That, I mean, I think that right there is the reason to do it.
Yeah. We just did a simple a sweet sesame sauce on the top with some sesame seeds thrown in it. Actually did put that in with the chicken, so I cooked that separate and then added the noodles on top of all of that. So it just soaks in all of the ingredients and gets that nice caramelization. So
that sounds really good.
Throw in some eggs at the last second, and they
yummy.
get just you just barely cook them. They're not runny, but they're not really that solid either.
My favorite. That's how I like my eggs too.
Mix it all in. It was solid.
That sounds great.
Very good.
With the rice noodles too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love rice noodles.
Those rice noodles take up so much flavor.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're light enough so you can allow for more heavy
Consumption.
flavors in. Yeah.
The thing I did discover
consumption
with
too.
the noodles though is it didn't keep as well because I had some the next day as well, and it didn't keep as well as rice technically would. It was kind of gummy. It turned kind of gummy.
Oh yeah.
But when it was fresh, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing about rice products. The same thing with the rice paper. Like if I'm doing wraps at home, they don't keep. They just get.
It's hard to restore that.
Yeah, as
that
soon as
initial,
it gets wet, it starts going downhill real fast.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was good. Very, very good.
Nice. Good
That
choices.
sounds delicious.
All right, so a couple of fun things happening, just to kind of transition into some events. We're heading towards the end of September.
Can you believe that? It's almost October.
I refuse to believe it.
I know.
Yeah.
And then we're having a cold front, apparently.
It's still July. No,
Can we stay in the summer? But then get rid of these 90, 100 degree weathers.
That's what we're about to do.
Yeah.
I know.
The cold front would have come
people.
and gone by the time this episode is out.
Right.
Yeah, probably by the time this episode comes out, we'll be back to 100. So,
So I hope everyone made it through this winter episode.
Hope you all enjoyed the windows down weather for a week.
and now we'll have ice storms.
Oh gosh. Not
Back to
again.
your regularly scheduled weather.
So anyways, so something really exciting that happened this month was the inauguration of the First Americans Museum. So it
yes.
inaugurated September 18th. And I know that.
Which was just a week ago.
Yeah, I know. I feel like 18th was just. I don't know. I feel like it was the beginning of September, just yesterday. But, anyways, so this place seems like it's very awesome. Right now they have 2 exhibitions going on for anybody that's interested in going. I know their general admission is $15. It's a little less for people that are veterans, children. If you are part of the tribal nation, then you also get a discount. I wanted to tell you guys, right now they have 2 really cool exhibitions going on. In their Tribal Nations Gallery, they have the Oklahoma exhibition. And you can learn about the 39 different tribal nations that used to live on these lands that were moved, years ago, and they're back. So, a really good opportunity to learn about our native populations here in North America. And then they have a second exhibition called the Winnebago Life of an Object. And this one's really cool because they're featuring some selections from the Smithsonian National Museum. Cool. So that's really cool if anybody's interested. Have you guys checked that out?
I haven't yet, but you mentioned the 39 tribes.
Yeah.
And their on-site restaurant is called 39 Restaurant.
Yeah. Really? Oh my gosh.
And
cling, cling.
I know, it's great. Well, I got when we're looking into this, I was just like, I wonder why they called it 39. And Josh was the one who pointed that out. He's like, well, probably the 39
tribal nations.
Yeah. It's been kind of cool. So I pass the First American Museum pretty much every day when I go home. So I live on the south side of Oklahoma City, and I've been watching this whole project for years because it's taken almost 2 decades for this center
been happening for a while
to open.
That little half crescent was up there for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, anybody driving down I-40 or I-35 has seen this place for a long time. So it's kind of neat to finally see it come to fruition.
Also, is half crescent kind of redundant? Because it'd just be a crescent. I was going to say half moon, but it wasn't. Then I changed it to crescent, and hence half crescent.
That's okay. We'll let it pass this time, Nabil.
It's kind of a round building. I don't know.
Don't mind me. The little arc. Yeah. I don't know. Like you know what I'm talking about.
And that I saw the other day is that structure, whatever you want to call it.
So many different names.
You've got me really confused because I probably could have said what it was. Now I have no idea.
Too many adjectives.
But it's 110 feet tall on the inside.
Really?
So it's this gigantic glass dome, basically.
It doesn't look as big when you're driving by it.
No. When you go in, it's big, gigantic dome as you walk into the different exhibit areas. But it has been cool to see it slowly come to the point where it can now be open. And I've heard, and I've known quite a few people who have already gone through it, and they've said it's fantastic. So make sure to get out and check that out for sure.
And what better way to do that than in their on-site restaurant? I mean, like, I'm excited to see the exhibitions and stuff as well, but I'm also really excited to try the restaurant, because it's all indigenous inspired cuisine.
Yeah, and what better way to learn about a culture or multiple cultures, right? Because, even within America's indigenous populations, there can be so much diversity.
Oh, yeah.
It's just getting to know about them by having their food and eating from their chefs, right? Are so familiar with that culture. So
I'm super excited about that because I don't know much about that cuisine. I don't know about you too. But, like, I'm excited to try it and learn more about it, and what better way to connect with people?
Yeah.
Than to eat
excited.
their food. Yeah.
Definitely got to make an OKC food outing out of this.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So, all right. So, the beginning of October is just around the corner also. And a couple of things that are on my mind that I wanted to tell you guys about, and also our listeners, is the 22nd Plaza District Festival, which is happening October 2nd. It's on a Saturday, and it's from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be in the Plaza District, of course, which is over there on 16th Street.
That makes sense. If it's called the Plaza.
Just got to make sure to clear that.
No, the Plaza District decided to have their festival
Midtown.
In downtown Cision Park. No, it'll be at the Plaza.
It's actually a walk.
So go check that out if you're free on a Saturday. Family friendly event, super exciting with all the food trucks out there.
And the Plaza always has a fun time.
Yeah.
They always do it right, and it's always a fun time.
Yeah.
They
And I
probably have
can't
some
believe
music
it's
going.
like
And
22
yeah.
years. That's pretty legit.
That is a long time.
Yeah.
22 years.
And I can't imagine what that area looked like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Probably grew a lot. Another event that's super interesting that's going on too is the Vietnamese Lunar Moon Festival happening October 2nd. And I've been to a few Vietnamese Lunar Moon Festivals throughout the years. This one is happening, however, at the World Fresh International Market, which is on 10700 South Penn Avenue. I've not been to this one, but it sounds really cool if anybody really loves Vietnamese culture and likes Vietnamese food. This one's from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., so it's got a good chunk of the day right there. Also on October 2nd. Have you guys ever been to any lunar festivals?
I have not. I actually saw a couple years ago, I drove by this event
Cool.
and wasn't able to stop, but it looked really, really cool. They had like the dragon dances going, a lot of traditional dance performances. They had food trucks out there. There were a lot of people gathered around, so sounds like a lot of fun.
Unibill, have you been to any of those? Or do you like Vietnamese food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like all food. But I haven't had a chance to go down to the Lunar Festival, but I have seen, pictures and things like that, and it looks like a lot of fun. And hopefully, maybe this one, I'll be able to make it.
Yeah, it's on a Saturday, October 2nd, you guys.
So now you got to choose. Go to Plaza Fest?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You could,
you could go to
Or
both.
you could do both.
You could do both.
just do both. Good thing about Oklahoma City is that everything's pretty close. So
A little tapas of events.
yeah. On October 20th, Taste of Western. Now, I've never been to this event before, but apparently it's the 18th annual Taste of Western, celebrating the restaurants of Western Ave, so our Western District here in Oklahoma City. It's going to be at the Will Rogers Theater Special Event venue. It's going to be at 6 p.m. and it looks like the admission starts at $65. It's a little bit pricey, but you'll get to try the food of Musashi's, Sushi Nico, VZD's, Rococo, among other restaurants represented there. And I know that all of the proceeds go to the beautification of Western Ave District. So it's just to kind of make that area better.
It's a good little area too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food packed into that area, and they've done a good job. The community's done a good job over the last couple of years, kind of revitalizing some of it. Because for a while there wasn't a whole lot there, but they've started to really try to bring it back. So.
And they do. They're so active that I know every year, well, pre-pandemic, they used to have I think Mesta Fest happens down there, among other events.
Oh, Mesta Fest happens down there? It
Yeah,
doesn't happen in, like, the Mesta Park area?
No, I think it's like, I remember it's on Western, but a little bit more south, like from where all those restaurants are, but it's walking distance.
Okay.
And then they have live music and things like that.
Yeah, and I think so a few years ago, the Harry Potter Festival was down there,
Ooh.
which was fun.
So I just looked up the website for Taste of Western, and like you said, it's $65 for tickets, but they also have VIP tickets, and they have a VIP area which will have champagne and whiskey tastings, as well as food from the tasting room.
Oh, nice.
Have either of you had the tasting room before?
No.
I have not.
It's fantastic.
So is this what is the tasting room?
So it's
I've been to meetings at the tasting room.
yeah. Tasting room is very it's a very intimate setting. I mean, it's not large at all, but it's you see the food prepared before you, course by course. The events that I've been to there have been like 10, 15 course affairs.
Oh, wow.
Of fine dining. I know they'll bring in, like Nabil said, they'll have meetings there, and you can have a various display of food that they will come in and do specifically for your group. I've had friends that periodically they'll do like a cooking event, and they'll bring in people, and they show you how to prepare all of the dishes, and
cool.
a little bit of a cooking school. But
That's cool.
It's a really unique spot. It's right in the heart of that western district, right by the theater. If you walk past it, you miss it because there's not much of a storefront or anything. You kind of have to go around back, but it's a good time.
So it's not a restaurant where you can just go in. It's like a place where people rent to.
I am actually not 100% sure on that because all of the, like Nabil said, like all of the stuff that I've been to at the tasting room has been like a corporate
private event.
a
Gotcha.
private event. I think they do have it set up to where it could be a more of a restaurant style, but I haven't ever been there.
Outside of a private event.
Outside of a private
Gotcha.
event. So
Okay, well, we'll have to find out and see.
Yeah,
And,
I think it is just private events, or like I know pre-pandemic, I believe they started doing events, so they were doing like pairing menus and things like that. So they put on these different events, but I don't think it's a just walk in, sit down,
Gotcha.
and order something type of restaurant.
That's cool. All right. Well, and before, I know I already kind of went on to October, but I wanted to mention again our September 30th event that we spoke about in the previous episode with our dear friend Cher Golding about Bar Wars, the Superheroes edition.
Yes.
So if you listened to our previous episode, you kind of had a real in-depth view of what this event is about and what it's for. And so definitely wanted to remind everybody about this event, which is really important. The proceeds go to Other Options, which is a nonprofit. It's a food pantry that helps individuals, people that have HIV or AIDS. And of course, the event is a competition of our local bartenders. You know, they're all going to go in costume and theme, and they're going to have their unique cocktails, and we're just all going to go have a good time. And
I can't wait to see how they like decorate it and come up with
know.
the cocktails with the themes and the food, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And Nabil, I know you've been there before, so can you give us a kind of some details on what to expect?
I guess just be ready to get your expectations blown out of the water. I mean, last time I walked in and, people are going to go out to the theme and things like that. But, like, man, kind of like what Cher was saying in the last episode, people go all out. These people are super creative. They're into what they're doing. And so, obviously, when you get a situation like that, there's no limits. And so just be ready to be like, wow, did not expect that.
Awesome. So excited. So September 30th, it's from 6 to 10 p.m. And you have to pay for admission. And I believe it's $50.
Yes.
Or more they give you an option to pay more on Eventbrite because it is a donation. So, but I think it starts at $50. So.
And it's at the Oklahoma City Farmers Market.
That's right.
It sure is, yeah. Important detail.
Important detail.
You need to know where to go.
Yep.
All right, Christina, what's next? Christina did all the research for this, and I
made some notes.
We're going to keep like throwing stuff back at her.
Well, now I'm thinking, what else did I find out? Oh, well, Oktoberfest. Did I talk about that already? I can't remember.
We haven't talked about
No.
Oktoberfest.
Nice. So Oktoberfest, I think one of my favorite events for Oktoberfest here in Oklahoma City is Fassler's Oktoberfest. It's free, and I think it's family friendly till 6 o'clock or till 8 p.m. actually. And then after that, it's 21 plus. It's going to be October 4th through the 6th. They're going to have live polka music, free outdoor German beer and food festival. So for any,
The festival is fair, but not the food and beer.
Okay. Yep.
Because I was like, wait, it's free? And no,
No,
the
it's not
festival
free.
is free, but
No, the admission, participating is free. Not the beer or the food. No. And then the Tulsa Oktoberfest, which apparently is very famous. I've never been to the Tulsa Oktoberfest before, but it's going to be October 22nd through the 25th. Apparently it's been around for 30 plus years, which is impressive. They're going to have beer barrel races. There's a 5K going on, and then 2 German bands are going to play. So if anybody wants to go on a little day trip to Tulsa, October 22nd through the 25th.
Little overnight trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, might not be the smartest thing to try to drive back.
Yes.
No,
Right?
go there, stay.
Yes. Or go with the DD. Yes.
Definitely, for sure.
So I'm trying to remember if I've been to Fassler's Oktoberfest. I don't think I have. And Tulsa's Oktoberfest looks really, really cool because they also do a pop-up restaurant there.
Oh.
It's called Restaurant M. Himmel. I think it translates to like restaurant in the sky because it's like on like the second story of their tent or building or whatever it is. So it's like overlooking the whole festival.
Nice.
And it's like a 3-course pairing menu or 3-course pairing menu of German cuisine.
Cool.
So, and I believe it's German cuisine.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Right. Well, I don't know if it was more like localized or if it was maybe Bavarian, you know, because it's all like
Yeah.
Oh,
in
that's
that same
I
region.
was like, it's probably not Hispanic.
Yeah. Probably not.
I think you're probably correct with that. It is Bavarian, so
Bavarian.
it's a Bavarian meal, 3-course pairing, and so that looks like a lot of fun to just like try that out and see what that cuisine is like. And obviously they've got, you know, like you were saying, tons of races, tons of games, tons of activities, a lot of performances, and tons of food, tons of beer. It's Oktoberfest.
Did either of you ever go to the Oktoberfest in Choctaw?
I have been there.
Apparently, we've got some really good Oktoberfests in Oklahoma.
Because I think that used to be, and if I'm not mistaken, they don't have it anymore because the old Germany restaurant that was in Choctaw closed down.
Oh, really?
And which was really sad because they had some really good food. But it used to be like the Oktoberfest event
Spot.
every year. I mean, like all you would hear advertising with all the radio stations, and all the radio shows would do like a remote broadcast from Oktoberfest. And I never had the opportunity to go out there and experience it myself, but from everyone that I talked to, that used to be the spot for Oktoberfest in Oklahoma. And when the old Germany closed down, I'm pretty sure that they discontinued the whole event, so
Really?
it's kind of sad.
That is sad. That was my first introduction to Oktoberfest.
Oh, really?
I went to Choctaw, right? That's where it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was huge. I remember, oh my gosh, there's so many people.
Yeah.
A lot of people dressed up, obviously, in costume. It was so fun. It makes me sad that they discontinued that. We'll have to look into it and
I wonder
see.
if the restaurateurs were like the driving force.
They
behind
were.
it. Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. The owner of Old Germany, I used to know him, and when they closed the restaurant down, I'm pretty sure they discontinued the event. So it's kind of sad. But go to Fassler Hall, go to Tulsa.
Go to Tulsa. Yep.
Good
but have a DD or spend the
Be
night in
smart.
Tulsa. Mhm.
Yes.
Be
yes,
smart.
For sure.
So far, that's all I got. So hopefully next time in our next episode update with just the 3 of us, we can talk more about what's going on.
Yeah. Are there any new restaurants that have opened that you haven't gotten a chance to try yet?
Man, there's one that I haven't been to yet. That's in Scissortail. You guys will help me. I know you guys have been there. Social something.
Social Capital.
Social Capital. Yeah.
You have to go to Social
I
Capital.
want to. It looks so awesome. I've
Something
not
like
been there yet.
80 or 90 beers on tap. and light bar food, but the food is surprisingly good.
Nice.
I like their view.
Yeah.
Like you go up on that
Yeah.
that second
Yeah.
story, and it's a deck, and it overlooks Scissortail Park, and it's very nice.
I mean, it's just a really good spot.
Yeah.
I hope that they keep making, they keep opening restaurants and businesses south. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna happen. It's already started,
yeah.
and especially with everything that's going to be happening around that Omni and all that stuff. It's
Well, and
gonna
Scissortail
happen.
Park is not just north of the interstate. They're continuing growth through the MAPS project. Scissortail Park is going to go well south of the interstate. So, like from the Wheeler district, which is not north, it's west of Scissortail. Scissortail will connect the
To
Wheeler
Wheeler.
district all the way to Oklahoma City, downtown Oklahoma City.
It's
So
gonna
it's
be
going to be
a-
a massive area. They've started construction on the south, the southern part. So I would imagine a lot of
Really?
development will go in that area. I've even seen some news stories talking about some of the businesses going in that area on the south side. Plus, you get into a whole new area of the city. On the south side of the river, there is a lot of really good Hispanic cuisine
There sure
on
is.
the
yeah.
south side. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens, maybe to revitalize part of that area, as well as bring in a little bit more of the Hispanic culture into the Scissortail area,
Yeah.
all the way over to Wheeler Park.
It'll incentivize people to, go out of their, just like adventure down there,
Yeah.
It's so far from where I live because I live in Edmond, and I've been down there before. I know there are a whole bunch of taquerias like Los Desvelados for anybody who's been down there, a whole bunch of other spots, but it just it's not close. But I mean, if they're going to start opening, or just, I don't know, when they finish all of that construction, and I mean, I just hope it really brings out more people down there.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm sure it will. Yeah.
The place that I haven't been to yet that I've been dying to go to is Jimmy B's.
Oh yeah.
It's on Broadway. Have either of you been there yet?
No, I've tried to, you guys.
I've looked at their menu like dozens of times, planning for when I do finally go. But they have a pretty wide array of food. They've got burgers, a lot of seafood in their menu. They have sushi available. Some of their main dishes, ahi tuna, salmon. They've even got some. I mean, it's pretty wide. They've got chicken meatballs with spaghetti.
This is a House Smith.
Steak.
This is a House
They have-
Smith restaurant, right?
Yes.
It's part of that group. Yeah.
Yes. So sandwiches, burgers, salads, kind of a little bit of fusion.
Sounds like it.
So I'm excited to try it out. So.
Well, if you decide to, make sure you make a reservation like several days in advance, because every time I try to, like with 1 or
That's
2
what I've
days,
heard.
oh man,
Really?
they're so booked.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Must mean
Frida
they're onto
Southwest.
something.
Yeah.
With same thing with what?
With Frida Southwest,
Mm.
they're book at least a week in advance.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Plan ahead. What about you? Anything you found in the area?
So there's a couple that have recently opened up. Well, one I know is fairly recent, and the other, I think either it's recent and just caught my eye. But oddly enough, you've heard me say this multiple times, that I usually don't go out for Indian Pakistani food because get better food at home. You can't compete with mom's cooking, right?
For sure.
But there are two that I want to try. I will give them. I will try it because obviously, there's a different flavor in restaurant food than there is in home food. And so these two, one of them is called Sizzle and Spice Kebab Grill. It's on 150th and May, just a little south of that. And they've got things like nihari, which is a slow-cooked beef curry with like, tons of spices and lots of flavors. I mean, this takes hours to cook. Their kebabs look really good. It's just one of those things where it's like, new spot, pictures look good, sounds good, let's try it, So that's one of the places I want to try. And then the other one I want to try is called Saffron. It's on 39th and Portland. It's near Spices of India, the Indian grocery store. And again, they've got the little street eats type of stuff, like the pakoras, which is it can be onions, it can be potatoes that are coated in like a lentil batter and then fried. So it's like a battered vegetable essentially.
Ooh, yummy.
That's being fried. And then they've got samosas, which are triangular pieces of heaven. Yeah, it's like, think of a thinner wonton shell, but it's in a triangle and it's packed full of like ground meat and flavor.
Ooh, yummy.
And then you dip it in
Ground
these different
meat and flavor.
And do they?
What else do you want?
And is it steamed or is it fried?
It's fried. Mm-hmm.
Lord.
And yeah, and then you dip it in the chutneys, tamarind chutney or green chutneys, which is usually a little spicier. Tamarind's a little sweeter and tangier. Yeah, and they've got other things like biryani, and then they've got this whole Indo-Chinese side of the menu, which is
interesting.
This weird conglomeration of Indian and Chinese food, hence Indo-Chinese. But it is so delicious.
I have to say, it's so interesting you say that, because I remember a few years ago, I went to London for the first time with a couple of my friends, and we stayed in an Airbnb kind of north of London, so it was kind of in the outskirts. So walking around, we must have stayed in an area where there was a lot of immigrants, because there were definitely just people from all sorts of places there. And we walked by this place called Chinese Pakistani restaurant. Like, that was just the name of the restaurant. Chinese Pakistani restaurant.
You should have tried it. You should have tried it.
Well, we were like, okay, interesting. I just didn't know that there was that specific combination.
Yeah. So they've got things like chicken 65, which I'm not sure why it's 65. Was it their 65th try? If this was a district in China, I'm not quite sure.
District 65.
But they're just a little like pieces of chicken that have been marinated and fried, and they're just spicy and just really, really good. And then you got things like chicken Manchuria or Manchurian, depends on where you go. Mm-hmm. It's just different curries and sauces, and it's delicious.
There's nothing like your own culture's street food, right? I mean, if you can't be in your country of origin or in the country where your parents are from, and if they open a restaurant, because street food is like you just sometimes can't find that at restaurants in the country that you're from, but yeah, like if you can find a restaurant in the United States where they can replicate that street food, I mean, that's just gold.
100% agree with what you're saying. Nothing like street food. And I have gotten close to the street food from like Pakistan, in places like Chicago and Houston, where there's obviously a larger population.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for it to come to Oklahoma, and maybe this is it. We'll have to give it a shot. You have to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I just looked up chicken 65.
Okay.
And
hit me. Hit us.
Hit us.
The dish was introduced in 1965.
Okay.
By Buhari's Hotel.
Cool.
Hence the name.
Where was
Chicken
Buhari's
65.
Hotel?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
If you're going to hit us.
I should have been ready. I can only Google so fast. Keep talking amongst yourselves, and I can hit you again.
Well, Buhari Hotel.
I'm gonna assume it's somewhere in India. If I was to guess, I'm gonna say Bangalore.
So specific.
Probably incorrect. I thought I wouldn't say Bombay or Mumbai because I feel like that's where most people would jump to.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to be a little.
I want to be a little different.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
just off the beaten path a little bit. But a lot of I was actually watching the show on Netflix, giving Josh your time to type on his phone.
Keep talking. I can't find it.
There was a show, and I can't remember what name it was. So once Josh tells us more of a story of Chicken 65, I will look up this name. And it was talking about like the roots of a lot of the Indian dishes that stem from like the Mughal Empire and stuff like that. So they were interviewing generations of chefs because, you know, it was like a family thing. So like this person is the head chef for the king, right? He runs the king's palace's kitchen.
Yeah.
And his son will take over because that's his recipes being passed down.
Right.
Because obviously if they give it out to anyone, these were like family traditions that were kept alive
because
from
they were passed
generation
down
to generation, right? That's how
Interesting.
recipes were passed down. Before they were all published on the internet or people were sharing them on social media, they couldn't do that. So they were passed down from generation to generation, and these generations continue to serve, you know, the kings and the queens and the line. And so they were talking about how these dishes were born and what they are today and what they meant. And it was just very fascinating.
Man, it's so much. I feel like it's probably, from a historian's perspective, way easier to analyze and interpret, like, or just dig deeper into the origins of certain foods from different cultures. If it's, you know, if you have like a monarchy and then the chefs have such an important and, you know, role in that institution, and if it's kept within a family, then all of that information is just obviously more well documented, probably.
Right. And you talk about documentation. They have, like, these guys were going through archives. They kept archives of what was served on what day. So they've got their menus from like hundreds of years ago.
Goodness.
Or I say hundreds of years ago, however many years it was when they said in the show. But it was insane. I'm like, wow. I mean,
How
they took their
lucky.
food seriously, right?
Yeah.
Like, food is a thing of pride, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, here, try this. Whenever you're saying that to someone, you're like, this is going to be the best thing you've ever tried, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how fortunate. I'm so happy that there's a way to kind of dig deep and figure out where all of these are from. Because a lot of times you don't know where, and if you're from a place where there was a lot of immigration, a lot of influences from different places, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, you know, where something began.
Right. And there was a similar show like that about Chinese cuisine as well. And so they were pinpointing certain dishes and from like how it was conceptualized and how that tradition is kept alive today. So I love watching those type of shows because you're like, you know, something might be born out of necessity and it's completely different now. Or, it's very fascinating. But I think Josh has an answer for us. I think we filled up enough airtime.
If you don't ask any more questions after I give you this information.
We'll see if it sparks any more questions.
So we were talking about Chicken 65. It was served in 1965 at the Buhari Hotel. And the Buhari Hotel, and I don't know the pronunciation on this, but it's Chenai. Chennai.
Dang it.
Nice.
So it's in Chennai.
Chennai. Okay. So I knew it wasn't like Mumbai.
It wasn't like your staple places.
Oh,
So
man. Okay.
there you go.
All right. Nice.
And the restaurant was opened in 1951.
And they came up with this in 1965.
And they came up with this in 1965.
Okay.
And this is a restaurant here?
No, this is in
No.
India.
Oh, in India. Okay.
In India.
And so that's where Chicken 65 was born.
There you go.
Now you know.
The
And
more
here it
you
was.
The more you know.
Here it was like, oh, maybe they have a a chain over here in Oklahoma City.
In Oklahoma City. From Chennai to OKC.
Bringing you the flavor. Okay, so I think one of the shows that I was looking for is called Flavorful Origins.
Nice.
And then I still don't know what the first show I mentioned about the Indian food and like the history of that. I haven't found that yet. So when I do, I will let you know.
We'll mention it on our Twitter or Instagram because I'm also very intrigued and I want to know what this is.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what it is too because I didn't finish it. So now I want to find it. Anyway, we'll find it.
All right.
One more tidbit about the Buhari Hotel.
Okay, here we go. This is all about Chicken 65.
That's right.
We'll just call this Chicken 65.
Supposedly,
Yeah.
and this is just off of their website, but they were the first hotel in India with a jukebox.
Oh, interesting.
So
For your next trivia.
there you go. Yeah, on your next trivia night, if you need to really stump a lot of people. So, the more you know.
Very cool. Well, thanks for looking into that, Josh.
No problem.
So I found the other one. It's called Raja Rasoi or Anyakanya. So that's like the Raja is the king, Rasoi is the cook,
Gotcha.
and the food.
Interesting.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's on Netflix. Both of those shows are on Netflix, by the way.
And it's the show is called, what was it called?
Raja Rasoi.
Oh, that's the actual name
That's
of the show.
the name of the show. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Raja is Raja, and I'm sure if you type that in, it'll pop up.
Okay. Yay.
We're just learning all kinds of things.
I mean, it's I don't know. I find it fascinating jumping into like, why is it called Chicken 65?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And then figuring that out. So I'm gonna have to go on a quest to try all the different Chicken 65. Serena's a big fan of Chicken 65. So there's apparently a place in Atlanta that's Chicken 65.
See, this is why this is so good to talk about food with you guys, because if I'm ever in Atlanta, now I'll know Chicken 65.
That's right. What's the place? I think the place was called Chinese Taba. I think that's
Like
what it's
tapa?
called.
Like
or
tapas?
Or maybe that's Taba.
Oh,
like
Taba.
Dhaba.
Gotcha.
Like Taba is a shack.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
It was like, and usually it was referred to when you're driving down the highway.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually Tabas everywhere, and like you go there and you eat.
Just food shacks.
Yeah, and a little bigger than shacks was they've got, like benches out or mats laid out where you can sit on the floor and eat. So it wasn't just like a food truck that you walk up to.
Right.
That would
You had to
operate
park,
as
go
a
in.
restaurant, but it wasn't an indoor restaurant per se.
Gotcha. How cool. For a second, I thought I heard you say Chinese tapas. I'm like, oh, is this a Spanish-Chinese fusion thing? But this is fusion day today.
Chinese tapas. That would.
It's called an egg roll, isn't it?
It's called, what are those?
Other stuff, dumplings?
Dumpling.
Yeah.
That could be tapas, right?
Well, you have Chinese restaurants, but then you have those other Chinese restaurants where they serve you. What are those places called, you guys? They come up to you and then they have you mark a little paper, and then you can just like grab things from their like steamed. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a name for that. And there's one.
Dim sum.
Dim sum. Boom.
Oh, man.
Dim sum, aka
It's
Chinese
delicious.
tapas.
Oh, my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh, I love it.
Dim sum will anywhere else will be ruined for me because I actually had dim sum in Taipei, Taiwan, and it was
Had-
just about the best thing.
Tell
I've
us
ever
the
had.
origins of the dim sum.
Since
Keep
you-
talking. I'll look it up again.
Since you've been at the authentic place.
Wait, okay, so what was different other than the fact that obviously this was in Taipei? In did they do anything different there that they do here with service wise, or because obviously food items might be a little different and the
Right.
flavor is going to be different,
But the
but like in
experience,
terms of
maybe?
the experience.
The experience, everything over in Taiwan is family style, like literally everything. And so every meal you would have a minimum of 20 courses.
Ooh.
Yikes.
A minimum. But a course is everybody gets a bite.
And I haven't
basically.
known Josh to be much of an exaggerator, or that much of an exaggerator. It's 20 courses.
But
probably
and
accurate.
we went to this dim sum place I think 3 times, and the ingredients are just so fresh and so. I mean, they're prepared right there. Everything's fresh. That. You don't get full. So even though you have a 20-course meal, it's just a couple of bites per course, and everything's so fresh. There's the lack of preservatives in all of the food, and so you look up 3 hours later and realize you've been eating the entire time, but you're not miserable. Like if you go to a Chinese buffet here,
my gosh.
you're dead after a couple of minutes because...
And you obviously have to go for a couple of rounds because otherwise, what's the point?
It's
of going
not worth it,
Right?
Even if you're not hungry, you make yourself go up there.
right? So everything is served family style, put on a lazy Susan in the middle of the table, and it's just rolled around and around, and they just keep bringing the food. Just fantastic.
That is such an amazing experience.
Oh, it's so good.
I wonder what Susan did to deserve to be named Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan.
And why she got the object got named after her.
Right. It's not helpful Susan or rotating Susan. It is
It's kind
lazy
of
Susan.
kind of a contradiction, right? Because the Susan in there in the middle is working
That's true.
hard to get the food to everybody. Josh, I'm gonna do some research. No,
I'm looking.
That's funny.
Thomas Jefferson invented the lazy Susan.
Really?
I actually knew this. I'd forgotten about this. Thomas Jefferson invented the lazy Susan in the 18th century, though they were referred to as dumbwaiters at the time. It is said that Jefferson invented the lazy Susan because his daughter complained she was always served last at the table and, as a result, never found herself full when leaving the table. So just keep on spinning that thing and bringing more food.
man.
There you go.
Interesting. That's
the more,
very interesting.
The more you know.
But why is it Susan?
Maybe his daughter was called
That's
Susan.
Oh, his daughter is called Susan. Okay.
I think so.
And she
Called
was,
named.
I should know this.
and now her reputation immortalized.
As
So
being
late.
On a
lazy.
table. Yeah, I should just gotten up and gotten some more food. No, just kidding. Interesting.
Well, this has been very educational.
Yeah.
Good talk, you guys.
Very interesting. Well, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button so you know when the next episode is out. And you don't miss any more of this incredible trivia. Who knows? In your next trivia challenge, this could be the question: where was Chicken 65 invented? In
Yeah.
Chennai in 1965, so you can get bonus points.
At the Buhari Hotel.
Buhari Hotel.
And Thomas Jefferson did have a daughter named Susan.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All right.
Lazy Susan.
Cool.
Susan's fed now. And share this podcast with a fellow food lover. Wow, okay, I'm stumbling over words, but you know what to do. Just share the podcast.
Yeah, and follow us on Twitter at OKC Foodcast, where we'll share some interesting details. Like we're gonna share some of that those details that Nabil was talking about that Netflix show.
Yes.
And we always love to hear from you. So whether it's on social media or via email at okcfoodcast@gmail.com or on all of our social media platforms, make sure to reach out because you never know when we'll be able to doing a giveaway or looking to engage you on other things.
That's right. We're always trying to do giveaways.
Yeah.
In fact, we just did one for Bar Wars, so congratulations to the lucky winners. And until next time, eat well and be happy.